All right, next up we got enzymes. Number 12. Enzymes catalyze reactions. Which of the following determines an enzyme's function? So what makes the enzyme know its job? So 1. Enzymes can work in many different temperatures. This doesn't really tell me how the different temperatures determine the function, and this is actually not true. Enzymes work at only very specific temperatures. If you put them in a place that is too hot, they'll stop working, they'll die, they'll denature. If you put them in a place that's too cold, they'll die, they'll denature. Next up, enzymes are specific to a specific substrate. This sounds like something that's very familiar that I've said before, so I'm going to put a maybe. Enzymes are in everything living. Yes, but how does that determine function? It doesn't, so it's not my answer. Enzymes are only activated by other molecules. Again, maybe, but this doesn't determine the enzyme's function. The enzyme's function is determined by the very specific shape to a very specific molecule, a substrate, like the lock and the key mechanism we talked about. All right, number 13. The picture below shows an enzyme inhibitor in action. So we have this inhibitor and this enzyme, and it is not letting the substrate attach to the enzyme. The substrate could just kind of like flies off because it can't fit into this shape. So how does it affect an enzyme? The substrate bonds to the enzyme. This is not true. The substrate cannot bond. It is literally flying off. The enzyme will be attacked. How? Why? No, this doesn't make sense. The enzyme will not produce enzymes. Enzymes don't produce enzymes, so I'm going to say that that's wrong. Last one, the substrate cannot attach, so the enzyme won't work. Exactly, the substrate can't attach, therefore the enzyme can't do anything. It can't catalyze the reaction because it has nothing attaching to it. So this is my answer. And last one on enzymes. The diagram below shows a series of how lactose is broken down in the body. So we have like a chain reaction. If enzyme 3 denatures means stops working. So enzyme 3 is going to die. This affects this chain, right? Because if this breaks, then I can't produce these. How you read this is you take lactose, enzyme 1 reacts to it and forms galactose. You take galactose, enzyme 2 reacts with it and forms galactose 1-phosphate. You take galactose 1-phosphate, enzyme 3 reacts with it to form glucose 1-phosphate. Glucose 1-phosphate is taken by enzyme 4, reacts with it, and forms glucose 6-phosphate. So, if enzyme 3 stops working, which one would increase? So I know if this stops working, I can't produce anything to the right of this. So glucose 1-phosphate cannot be made, and glucose 6-phosphate cannot be made. So these two would decrease. So let me see if I can find these in my answer choices and get rid of them. Glucose 1-phosphate, get rid of it. Glucose 6-phosphate, get rid of it. The only one that would increase would be the one right before my enzyme breaks. There would be a whole bunch of accumulation of this because it's not being used by enzyme 3 to create something else. It's just like building up and building up and building up. So galactose 1-phosphate would increase.